Welcome back to GH Always, Sam McCall's fake death, hidden struggles, and emotional return to Port Charles. Welcome back to GH Always. Today, we uncover one of the most dramatic and heart-wrenching chapters in ABC General Hospital, the story of Sam McCall's fake death, her hidden life in exile, and her emotional homecoming. This tale of love, sacrifice, and redemption captures the essence of the show's gripping storytelling. A tragic death that shook Port Charles. The story begins with what appeared to be the tragic and untimely death of Sam McCall. News of her demise stunned Port Charles, leaving her loved ones reeling in despair. Sam was believed to have been murdered in a horrifyingly calculated act. Her life was claimed by a lethal poison injected into her system, a method so cold and deliberate that it left no doubt about the intentions of her killer. The community mourned deeply for Sam. Her children, Danny and Scout, were left motherless, and her boyfriend, Dante Falconeri, was consumed by grief. Her death left unanswered questions. Who could commit such a heinous crime? And why? Despite the police's best efforts, the identity of her killer remained a mystery, leaving the people of Port Charles both heartbroken and terrified. But not everything was as it seemed. Sam's death, while devastating, was not the end of her story. Behind the scenes, a secret was unfolding, one that would change everything. The truth behind Sam's death. Unbeknownst to the public, Sam's death was not real. It was an elaborate ruse orchestrated by none other than Dante, a seasoned police officer and Sam's devoted boyfriend. Dante suspected that Sam's life was in grave danger, and all evidence pointed to Cyrus Renaud, a ruthless criminal mastermind known for his unrelenting pursuit of those he saw as threats. Cyrus's reputation for eliminating his enemies was unmatched. Once Cyrus targeted someone, survival was nearly impossible. Realizing that Sam's life hung by a thread, Dante took matters into his own hands. He devised a plan to fake her death, staging the entire event with painstaking detail. From the fabricated crime scene to the carefully planned funeral, Dante ensured that the illusion was airtight. His goal was simple: to keep Sam safe by making her disappear from Cyrus's radar entirely. With her death staged, Sam was secretly relocated to Los Angeles. Hidden away in a luxurious hotel under an assumed identity, she lived in isolation, far from the life she had known. While this plan ensured her physical safety, it came at a tremendous emotional cost. Sam was forced to sever all ties with her loved ones, including her children, Danny and Scout. For a mother as devoted as Sam, this separation was a heavy burden to bear. Sam's hidden life in exile. While in hiding, Sam struggled to adjust to her new reality. The safety of her hotel room became a gilded cage, a constant reminder of what she had sacrificed. Her thoughts were consumed by her children, and the pain of being apart from them was unbearable. Sam knew that Danny and Scout were grieving her loss, and the thought of their heartbreak cut deeper than any physical danger she had faced. Despite the distance, Sam refused to completely disconnect from her children. She found ways to quietly monitor their lives from afar, ensuring they were cared for and protected. This act of silent devotion became her lifeline, the only solace in an otherwise bleak existence. Sam often debated whether staying hidden was the right choice. The maternal instinct to be with her children warred with the knowledge that her absence was the best way to keep them safe. The fall of Cyrus Renaud. Meanwhile, back in Port Charles, the tides were turning against Cyrus Renaud. His reign of terror was beginning to unravel as law enforcement closed in on his criminal empire. Among the countless atrocities attributed to Cyrus was the murder of Dex Heller, a courageous undercover police officer. This brutal act galvanized the police force, fueling their determination to bring Cyrus to justice. After months of relentless investigation, Cyrus's crimes were finally exposed. His capture marked the end of a dark chapter for Port Charles. In a dramatic courtroom battle, Cyrus was convicted of multiple charges, including murder and conspiracy. He was sentenced to life in prison, ensuring that he could no longer harm anyone. The fall of Cyrus meant one thing for Sam: the threat to her life was over. Sam's emotional return to Port Charles. With Cyrus behind bars, Sam made the decision to return to Port Charles. The time had come to reclaim her life and reunite with her family. Her journey back was filled with anticipation and anxiety. How would her loved ones react to the revelation that she had been alive all along? Would her children understand the reasons behind her deception, or would they resent her for the pain they had endured? Sam's homecoming was as emotional as it was complicated. Her son, Danny, was particularly shaken by her return. His initial reaction was one of disbelief and anger. For Danny, the pain of losing his mother had been real and profound. To learn that she had been alive but hidden was a betrayal he struggled to process. His emotions boiled over into confrontation, and he demanded answers from Sam. Sam, though heartbroken by Danny's reaction, knew she owed him the truth. She explained the impossible choice she had faced, the danger Cyrus posed, and the lengths she had gone to protect her family. While her reasons were justified, the scars left by her absence would take time to heal. A new chapter for Sam and her family. Sam's return marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. The road to rebuilding trust with her children and loved ones would be long and challenging, but Sam was determined to face it head-on. She understood the pain her decisions had caused, but she also knew that her choices had been made out of love and necessity. Her story became a testament to resilience and sacrifice. Sam's journey highlighted the lengths one will go to protect their family, even at great personal cost. As she began to rebuild her relationships, she was buoyed by the hope that time would heal the wounds her absence had left. What's next for Sam and Port Charles? The drama surrounding Sam's fake death and return has left fans eager to see what's next for her character. Will she reconcile with Danny and Scout? How will her relationships with others in Port Charles evolve in the wake of such a monumental revelation? And what new challenges lie ahead for her as she navigates life after Cyrus? Next, we're diving into a fascinating General Hospital storyline that examines the connection between Lucky Spencer and Cameron Webber. Despite Aiden being Lucky's biological son, there's a case to be made for Cameron carrying more of Lucky's spirit and traits. From music to relationships, we're unpacking all the reasons why Cameron might be the true inheritor of Lucky's legacy. Stick around, because this is going to be an emotional deep dive into family, identity, and love in Port Charles. A bittersweet legacy, Lucky Spencer's unlucky love life. Let's start with Lucky Spencer himself. No one in Port Charles has been quite as unlucky in love as Lucky. Despite his enduring connection with Elizabeth Webber, their relationship has been a roller coaster of highs and heartbreaking lows. Lucky's journey included relationships with Sam McCall, Sarah Webber, and even a brief marriage to Siobhan McKenna, whose tragic death marked yet another chapter in his tumultuous romantic history. While Cameron Webber has yet to experience the devastating losses that define Lucky's love life, his on-again, off-again romance with Jocelyn Jacks shares echoes of Lucky's past. Cameron's heartbreak after Jocelyn left him for another man reflects the same vulnerability that Lucky carried through his relationships. Although Cam has moved on with a new girlfriend, the parallels to Lucky's love life are striking, and they might suggest that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, even when it's not the biological tree. Music in the bloodline, a shared passion across generations. One of the most poignant ways Cameron mirrors Lucky is through their shared love of music. While Aiden is Lucky's biological son, Cameron has shown a natural inclination for music that recalls Lucky's teenage years. Lucky often used music to express himself, serenading Elizabeth and performing at the nurses' ball. Cameron, similarly, has showcased his talent on the Port Charles stage, most memorably singing alongside Jocelyn. The real-life parallels between actors Jonathan Jackson and William Lipton deepen this connection. Both are accomplished musicians who have taken their passion for music beyond the soap opera world. Jackson fronted his own band, and Lipton's band, the Runarounds, even performed on General Hospital in 2022. These moments of musical expression create a bond that transcends genetics, suggesting that Cameron may embody Lucky's artistic spirit more than anyone else. A visual connection, aesthetic similarities between Lucky and Cameron. During Cameron's most recent visit to Port Charles, fans couldn't help but notice his uncanny resemblance to Lucky. The long, tousled locks that Cameron sported seemed like a nod to Lucky's teenage style, creating a visual link that feels intentional. William Lipton, who plays Cameron, even commented on how his hairstyle deviates from Cameron's usual clean-cut look. This subtle aesthetic choice serves as another reminder of the connection between Lucky and Cameron, a connection that feels even more significant given the emotional weight of their family dynamics. Could this shared style be a metaphor for the deeper similarities between the two characters? Parenthood and influence. Who raised Cameron? While Lucky's biological link to Aiden is undeniable, the bond he shared with Cameron during his years in Port Charles paints a different picture. Lucky played a fatherly role in Cameron's life during a formative time, and his influence is evident in Cameron's values and demeanor. Unlike Lucky, who often struggled with his identity and role within his family, Cameron has a strong sense of responsibility and loyalty. These traits might stem from the stability that Lucky, despite his flaws, provided during Cameron's early years. In many ways, Cameron's resilience in the face of heartbreak and his dedication to his family feel like a continuation of Lucky's legacy. The question of family resemblance, Aiden versus Cameron. Aiden Spencer, Lucky's biological son, has yet to exhibit many of the characteristics that defined Lucky. While it's too early to say how Aiden will grow up, his current personality doesn't reflect the adventurous, artistic spirit that made Lucky so unique. Cameron, on the other hand, seems to embody these qualities in spades. This raises an intriguing question about the nature of family resemblance. Is it purely about genetics, or is it shaped by shared experiences and emotional bonds? In Cameron's case, the latter seems to hold true. Despite not being biologically related, his connection to Lucky feels authentic and deeply rooted in their shared history. A future for Elizabeth's family. What comes next? As Cameron continues to navigate his life in Port Charles, the influence of those who raised him will undoubtedly play a role in shaping his future. Lucky's decision to stay in town offers a unique opportunity for these two characters to reconnect and deepen their bond. Could Lucky and Cameron's shared traits lead to a stronger relationship between the two? And what might this mean for Elizabeth's family as a whole? With Lucky back in town and Cameron finding his footing as a young adult, there's potential for a new chapter of growth, healing, and discovery. Final thoughts. Who truly carries Lucky's legacy? So, what do you think? Is Cameron the true heir to Lucky's legacy, despite not being his biological son? From their shared love of music to their parallel struggles in love, Cameron seems to reflect Lucky in ways that go beyond DNA. At the same time, Aiden's journey is still unfolding, leaving room for surprises and growth. Next, we're diving deep into one of the most captivating ongoing dramas on General Hospital, Elizabeth Weber Baldwin's complex and evolving love life. It's been a long, winding road for Elizabeth, filled with heartbreaks, reunions, and unexpected twists. Today, she finds herself at a fascinating crossroads with three very different men vying for her affection. We're going to dissect each potential romance, explore the layered histories, and imagine what the future might hold for Elizabeth as she navigates this storm of emotions. Trust me, this is going to be a juicy one, so grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's get started. Rick Lansing, the return of a long-lost love. Let's kick things off with Rick Lansing, a man who was once central to Elizabeth's life but has been absent for years. Rick's sudden return has stirred up old memories, and his affection for Elizabeth remains palpable. He looks at her like she's the only woman in the world, and there's no denying that he's eager to rekindle what they once had. What makes Rick's return so intriguing is the possibility of a fresh start. Unlike Jason and Lucky, who have extensive, tangled histories with Elizabeth, Rick offers something different, the allure of a love story that might be less burdened by past mistakes. However, let's not forget that Rick's history in Port Charles is far from spotless. His scheming ways and questionable decisions could pose significant challenges if Elizabeth decides to explore a future with him. That said, there's something undeniably appealing about the idea of Rick and Elizabeth rediscovering each other. Could their renewed connection be the key to Elizabeth finding happiness? Or will Rick's old habits and unresolved baggage prove to be too much? Only time will tell, but for now, the spark between them is undeniable. Jason Morgan, A Complicated Love Rekindled. Next up, we have Jason Morgan, the man who has been both a source of great passion and profound heartbreak for Elizabeth. Their history is nothing short of epic, filled with love, loss, and endless complications. From their shared bond over Jake's paternity to their undeniable chemistry, Jason and Elizabeth have always had a connection that feels almost fated. But let's not sugarcoat things, Jason's life is messy. His involvement in the mob has always been a significant obstacle, not just for Elizabeth but for anyone who gets close to him. And while his love for Elizabeth is genuine, his priorities often lie elsewhere, namely, with Sonny Corinthos and the dangerous world they inhabit. Still, there's something about Jason that Elizabeth can't seem to resist. His protective nature, his unwavering loyalty, and his deep capacity for love make him a compelling option. However, if Elizabeth chooses Jason, she'll have to grapple with the dangers and uncertainties that come with being in his orbit. Is she ready to take that risk again, or will she decide that her heart deserves a safer harbor? Lucky Spencer, a high school sweetheart who never truly left. Now let's talk about Lucky Spencer, the man who was Elizabeth's first great love and, in many ways, her soulmate. Lucky's return to Port Charles has brought a wave of nostalgia, not just for Elizabeth but for longtime fans of the show. Their love story is one of the most iconic in General Hospital history, filled with unforgettable moments and enduring affection. Lucky's unwavering support for Elizabeth, even after years apart, speaks volumes about the bond they share. He's the kind of man who would move heaven and earth to protect her, and his recent actions, like stepping in to help her without hesitation, show that his love for her hasn't wavered one bit. But can they recapture the magic of their youth? Their relationship has seen its fair share of trials, from infidelity to devastating losses. Rebuilding that trust won't be easy, but if anyone can make it work, it's Lucky and Elizabeth. Their story is a testament to the idea that true love can endure, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Elizabeth's current dilemma, love, loss, and renewal. Elizabeth's current situation is as complex as it is compelling. With three very different men vying for her heart, she faces a choice that could redefine her life. Each suitor offers something unique. Rick represents the possibility of a clean slate, a chance to start over without the weight of past betrayals. Jason embodies the idea of rekindling a love that has always burned brightly, even amid chaos. Lucky is the promise of a love that has stood the test of time, a bond that could be stronger than ever if given a second chance. But what if Elizabeth chooses none of them? What if she decides to focus on herself for a change? After years of putting others' needs ahead of her own, Elizabeth might find that the most empowering choice is to prioritize her own happiness and well-being. The bigger picture, Elizabeth's journey to self-discovery. Beyond the romantic drama lies a deeper story of personal growth. Elizabeth has spent much of her life defined by her relationships, often sacrificing her own dreams and desires for the sake of others. This moment of possibility could also be an opportunity for her to rediscover herself, her passions, her ambitions, and her sense of identity. Imagine Elizabeth stepping away from the romantic entanglements to focus on her career as a nurse or exploring a new hobby that brings her joy. This could be the beginning of a transformative chapter for her, one where she emerges stronger, more independent, and ready to embrace whatever life throws her way. Final thoughts: who will Elizabeth choose? So, there you have it, a love triangle, or quadrangle, that has the potential to shake up Port Charles like never before. Will Elizabeth give Rick a second chance, rekindle the flame with Jason, or return to her roots with Lucky? Or will she surprise us all by choosing herself and embarking on a journey of self-discovery?